All right, so you guys are probably wondering why I just took the wheel off. Well, got something to show you guys. I've been running these wheels and tires for about 18,000 miles. And I did typical tire rotations and all that stuff. But the other night I was just walking around the garage doing some inspection and came across some serious wear on the inside of this tire. Well, actually both of the fronts, but this side more specifically. So I'm running about 2.5 degrees of negative camber. That's something which is a little aggressive, but it's nothing crazy. I've run, you know, that on many cars before, and I haven't had this aggressive of wear on the tires. And something tells me that the toe is off. So kind of sucks because there's a lot of tread, as you can see. These tires probably should last about 25 to 30,000 miles at least. But this inside is pretty worn. And I was pretty shocked to see that. Like I said, the other side is not as bad. This side's way more drastic. So something tells me that something is going on. So I will be getting new front tires and an alignment. Kind of sucks because I wasn't really planning on doing that. So it looks like the power mods are going to be put on hold for a little bit. But crazy. I mean, you can see just how much this is worn. And then this is what it typically looks like. And that's what it looks like on all the other tires. Like I said, the driver's side front's a little, it's not as I guess as bad as this, but I was pretty shocked to see that. I was kind of annoyed. But as you can see here, like there's some rubber coming up. It's just that shape. I mean, honestly, I could probably roll on this for, you know, a couple thousand miles, but it's not worth it to me. You know, I do drive my family in this car and everything, and drive it every day, and I would hate to, you know, if something bad happens. So might as well just pony up the cash now, get the job done, and get it fixed. So 2 new front tires and a new alignment. Doing some closer inspection on the wheel, and you can see right here there's some cording. So I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm glad I found it, because that's dangerous. Once it gets down to that point, you don't want to go there. So about 18,000 miles on these. Yeah, sucks. Also a good thing to do anytime I do take a wheel off, or all the wheels. I always do like a visual inspection of, you know, the coils, the brake lines, brakes, you know, anything in the wheel well, just to make sure everything looks good and there's nothing that needs to be addressed. Pretty dirty. I didn't wash the car, so these will be cleaned up once I do wash the car. I always clean the calipers and everything like that. The rust is normal for where I live, and I usually take like a steel brush and clean the hubs off just to make sure everything is nice and clean and attached well. But visually, coilovers look great. Doesn't seem to be showing any signs of leakage or anything like that. I have a decent amount of miles on these, but I've had absolutely zero issues with these. Everything's been great. But yeah, everything looks fine. Nothing is kind of jumping out at me that really needs to be addressed, so that's a good sign. But yeah, always good to check those couple things when you do have a tire off, just to kind of go over everything. But damn, I am annoyed with this. But I guess it's just the price you pay when you modify your car, and you know, things like this do happen. So the good thing is I did catch it, and I'm aware of this kind of stuff. So you know, I do check for these things often, just to make sure the car is running well and there's no issues. And yeah, so there's that. The rears are totally fine, which is crazy because I don't know if you guys can see, but no camber wear at all, which is bizarre because I think I'm running more negative camber in the rear here, which is closer to -3. So it's pretty. I think you guys look. I got some chalk on the tires from the kids, which is crazy because, like I said, there's more camber on this side than there is on the front. So something leads me to believe that the toe is off up front, because toe is what actually kills tires quicker than camber, actually, unless you're running like -6 or something crazy like that. But yeah, so I will be heading to my shop. 2 new front tires, alignment. Probably go. I'll give you guys my final specs of what I ended up going with, but I'm probably gonna bump it down to like, I think I'm 2.5 right now up front. I think I'm bumped down to like 2.2 or close to 2, which shouldn't be a problem because, like, you know, I have obviously the adjustments down there, and I have camber plates up here too, so I should be able to kind of dial in whatever I need. But yeah, damn, that sucks. So it's like, what, $400 or $500 worth for 2 tires. Oh yeah. All right, well, for you, I mean, this is gonna be a next day thing for me, but for you, it's gonna be a couple seconds. So again, I'll check back in with you guys once everything is completed, and yeah, I'll update you guys then. Guys, so that's it. I got everything done. New tires, fresh alignment, and yeah, happy with everything. I'll show you the specs, what we ended up with. This is what it started out as. Front left, as I expected. I thought it was a little bit more than this. Negative 0.9 is barely anything. So I was surprised to see it so low, but then this one, I was at negative 3.4, which is pretty crazy for a street car. So that is the reason why that side had so much wear. And you know, it didn't really look, I mean, I knew it was off on both sides, but I didn't think it was that off. And also another thing that was found was the toe in the back rear was 0.49 degrees. That's pretty crazy. So that was also fixed. These are my camber specs as before the alignment. So that's just fixed. You can't change that. That's just what it is. I mean, it will adjust when you do all the other alignments and other adjustments and everything. But as you'll see, it kind of went up a little bit on both sides. But these are my new specs after the alignment. So this went down to negative 0.6. They brought it down to negative 0.8 toe. Before that was 0.17. This was negative 0.05. Now I'm at negative 0.01 and 0.01. So that is that's exactly where you want to be. You don't want any toe in the front. The rear, you want a little toe in for better handling and everything, but it's a street car, so I'm not crazy about it, but that's just what it is. This bumped up about 0.1 degrees. This went up, let's see, 0.4 degrees, so almost a half a degree. So this is kind of, I'm not really having me concerned because the wear on both of these tires on the rear are even. There's no crazy camber wear like the fronts were having before that, so I'm not too concerned, but I might pick up some rear lower control arms so I can dial that in a little bit better, get closer to like negative 2.0 on both sides, so it's a little bit more even and I can dial it in a little bit better. As you can see, I do have the hood up on the car, and that is because I actually went and dialed in a little bit more negative camber. The reason for that was I wanted something a little bit closer to negative 2, maybe like 1.5. So having almost, I don't want to say positive camber, but under negative 1 degree of camber, it actually looked like the car raised. Since there was so much more tire out, there was a lot more fender gap, and it just didn't look right. I know this is probably completely, I wouldn't say ruin the alignment, but I guess it kind of tweaked it a little bit. So hopefully the toe isn't crazy. I didn't go crazy. Let's see if we can actually notice, but it was on the plus mark right there. I moved it. Each notch supposedly is about 0.2 to 0.4 change. So I moved this one since it was a little less. It was negative 0.6 on this side and negative 0.9 on that side. So I moved this over 2 notches, basically about a ½ degree more of camber. So I'm sitting at probably about 1.16. So probably a little bit over 1, probably about 1.5 with the 2 notches. So if it's at 4, so that's 1. So yeah, like 1.4 degrees. Same thing over here. I actually did a little bit less. I moved it over about 1.25 notches. I don't know if you can really tell, it's dirty. So this is at 0.9, so if it's about 0.4 degrees of camber, so that moved it over to 1.3 plus another little quarter, so probably 1.4. So I'm probably about 1.4, 1.5 negative degrees of camber. So and it did adjust the wheel gap a little bit. It tucked the tire in a little bit more, which I prefer. You know, I like a little bit of negative camber, just how it looks and everything. So yeah, I know some of you are probably like, you're an idiot for doing that, but I couldn't stand the wheel gap. It was bothering me so much, and it just looked really goofy. So which I was really surprised about, to see how much it actually, you know, how much wheel gap was actually showing just after that alignment. But either way, I'm happy with everything. The car drives great. I'm happy that I got, you can't really see, but brand new tires. I showed you saw it, you know, earlier in the video of them at the shop and everything. So yeah, but that's it. That is my, I guess, mod that I didn't want to do. But it's done, it's completed, I'm happy with it. I don't have to think about it anymore. So the other, previously in the video, I guess the other night for me, I did show you the the passenger side tire. You know, the cording and the metal, the ribs or whatever you want to call it, that was showing on that tire. And it was actually even worse after we got the tire off and we took a look. You could actually see the ribbon on the inside of the tire. So I was like, it's not even worth trying to, you know, keep it and use it later down the line or sell it or something like that. So I just tossed that. But I did, this was the driver's side one. This had a little bit less camber wear. So you can see the lines are still there. On the other one, if you go back early in the video, you'll see these things are just like completely gone. So this one was a little bit more usable, and I can salvage this one and use it for a spare or something, you know, just in case. I didn't want to toss this one just because it was in better shape. So yeah, ended up keeping that tire. This one has about 18,000 miles on it. So as you can see on this side, these things wear pretty well, minus the stupid camber wear. But yeah, so I got an extra tire as a spare, which will be cool to have just in case. You know, I'm in a bind or something and I need a tire or whatever. Yeah, so I have a spare. Curious about how much this costs, just so you guys get an idea. If you do have an STI and you know, lowered your car and you had some serious camber wear and you need an alignment and 2 new tires. I know it's pretty specific, but hey, you never know. So if you guys want to know, here is the breakdown. Tires were $565. Yes, you can get them cheaper, but for me, it was just a convenience thing. I literally just hit up my shop and they were like, yep, we can have them, and they had them there the next day. I know Tire Rack, they're actually, I think it's around it's about $100 cheaper. So if I were to get them myself, which I could have done, but like I said, it was more of the convenience factor. Tire fee, $3. Balance to the wheels was $34. Tire disposal fee, which was stupid, $5.50. Alignment was $159. For the grand total of $18.44 with tax and everything. So yeah, that's how much it cost. You know, it was kind of made my butt pucker just a little bit, but you know, at the same time, it was one of those things that I was just like, you got to do it. Make sure the car's safe. Make sure the car is, you know, driving well and everything. And you don't want to risk the people in the car, yourself, or anybody else on the road, or the car itself. So I'm happy I got it done. But yeah, that's how much that cost. So it kind of ate into the performance mods, if you will. So those are on hold for a little bit, but I'm glad I got it done. And yeah, that's how much it cost. I just ended up, I drove around the block just to kind of settle the car because I had to jack it up, change the camber on the camber plates up top. So it did settle down a little bit more. So I am happy. I don't know if I showed you guys it beforehand of what it looked like, but just adding that little bit of negative camber did wonders. I'm much happier with how it looks. The gap doesn't look as crazy. The rear is still lower, but that's actually how it should be. You should have the rear lower and the front look a little bit higher. I'm not really a big fan of the raked look. I like something that's nice and even, and the front fenders are actually bigger than the rear fenders, so the illusion, it looks like it's higher, but it's actually the same height. So just wanted to show you that real quick before I end the video. Yeah, much happier. Also, before I end this video, I wanted to extend, I guess, a sale. I don't know what you want to call it, but if anybody wants this knob, let me know. It's in great shape. It's the cob knob that I've been running in my car for, pretty much my entire ownership. I did just get a new shift knob, which is actually in a video tomorrow. But if anybody wants this, hit me up. This fits any WRX or STIs. It doesn't fit the previous gen WRX because it's a little different. It has a little notch down at the bottom. But this fits current WRX or current and previous STIs. So the 6 speeds basically. So if anybody wants that, hit me up. It's in great shape. There's no scratches or nicks or anything like that. It's literally looks brand new. So let me know.